Only IAS का कभी पहले से content या कभी कुछ सुना था वैसे?
I've heard of the Prahar series of Only IAS.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you follow it?
Prahar ka, I have seen the booklets and I've tried to read, but then again, time did not permit me to do
Got
so.
it. Got it.
Yeah. May I come in, sirs?
Yes, come in, come in.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
sir.
Please sit
Morning,
down.
sir.
Please.
Morning, sir. Thank you, sir.
So, Vishnu,
Yes, sir.
okay, you are already in Danix as probationer.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good.
Thank you,
Very
sir.
good. You are a student of political science and economics.
Yes, sir.
Now, recently the Supreme Court gave a verdict that these electoral bonds are not constitutional, and he struck them down. These bonds were brought into existence to overcome the problem of black money. A
Yes.
lot of cash and black money was flowing into political parties.
Yes, sir.
Now, how do you see what should be the best approach to handle this issue? How to contribute to the political parties in a transparent way which is in tune with the democratic norms?
Sir, firstly, there should not be any anonymity with respect to the funding of the political parties. The anonymous nature should be done away with. So, secondly, even though we are following the KYC norms, know your customer norms, by enforcing such norms, we can reduce the issue of money laundering which the government was trying to combat. So, thirdly, the state sponsorship of election would be an idea which the state can look into to reduce the role of black money within the electoral funding. And sir, most importantly, the political parties themselves should voluntarily disclose the amount of money that they're receiving through their websites and through their
Do you
notifications.
think the state funding and voluntary disclosure, are these possible in the Indian context?
Sir, with respect to state sponsoring, though there will be some issues or difficulties in coming out with the modality, so but I'm expecting and I'm optimistic that such a solution in the long run will reduce the role and the power of money that can influence the electoral decisions within the country.
Okay, my next question related to that is, there has been a debate between the executive and the judiciary on the appointment of judges to the Supreme Court and the High Court.
Yes, sir.
A law was passed unanimously by the Parliament, which was also struck down by the Supreme Court. So, what is your opinion? How the judges should be appointed, or should we continue with the current system of collegium?
Sir, the Honorable Supreme Court, the Honorable Chief Justice of India, Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, had said that unless the Parliament comes up with a new system of appointment, the current system would go on. But at the same time, sir, I think there should be transparency within the appointment system, because the collegium system has been termed as very opaque, given that the nature and the grounds for appointment, they are not being really discussed. So, if such, and why the names have been rejected as such. So, if the collegium system comes up with the information disclosure to give reasoning as to why it has rejected certain names or why it has accepted certain names for appointment to the positions of in the Supreme Court and the High Court, then I think that would be a good step ahead in the reformation of judicial appointments.
Or will it cause many more debates afterwards?
So,
It
given
would
that
be a reform, or it would be a more, a Pandora box will be open on every argument they give in favor or against.
So, given that we are a democratic country and there is a freedom of speech and expression, though there will be debates and discussions that will be going on, but I think, sir, that would be a healthy sign of democracy. And
But do you know any country where the judges appoint themselves?
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware of that. I'll definitely read into it.
Okay. Now, international relations is your area of interest.
Yes, sir.
There has been a lot of debate on the performance of UN.
Yes, sir.
That UN is not up to the mark, or its performance has not been very good in the recent past particularly. What reforms would you like to introduce in the to make it more effective?
So the first and the foremost reform that needs to be there is regarding the UNSC membership. It has not been representative of the global south, especially countries from Latin America and Africa. They are not being represented at all. So firstly would be in terms of representation and increasing the membership of the UNSC Council. So secondly would be in terms of the funding. One major issue that the UN has been facing recently is the issue of funding. So if there are other alternative fundings available to the UN apart from the voluntary commitments that the member countries make, that would be a good move for the United Nations.
Yeah, this has been in fact a very big issue. In fact, I was Deputy Permanent Representative to UNESCO.
Yes, sir.
And the countries don't want to give in the regular budget. They want to give what you call extra budgetary contributions meant for a specific scheme which is designed for their own national interest.
Yes, sir.
So how do you tackle this? Countries are not ready to give.
Sir, one, if we make it legally binding on the countries when they join a particular organization, that they have to pay the agreed amount as contribution for the functioning of the multilateral order, that would be one step, sir. And secondly, sir, I think one issue, as you pointed out, so many countries are advancing their national interest in funding aspect. So if we diversify the funding source by increasing the budgetary allocations to other member countries also who might have the capabilities.
Okay, so these are the two reforms. One is UNSC, one is budgetary. What else? Any other reform?
So thirdly would be the voting pattern and decision making within the UN bodies.
Okay.
So because the UNSC has veto over all important matters, and the United Nations General Assembly, which is quite more representative of the international order, has no powers to override the UNSC. So if certain powers...
but UNGA is also a very complicated matter.
Yes, sir.
I know the Australian ambassador telling me that I have 18 votes in my pocket because those 18 islands are dependent on him.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, let's move to the next one.
Yeah. So what is the law of natural justice?
So, sir, the law of natural justice says that one cannot be a judge in his or her own case. And so secondly, everyone should be given a free and fair chance to be heard equally.
Before? One has to be heard before what?
Before making a decision, sir.
Okay. Now, under what enactment was the CBI constituted, the Central Bureau of Investigation?
Sir, it is under the Delhi Police Special Establishment Act.
Of which year?
So is it 1946?
1956. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Now, how does that limit the powers of the CBI in the country?
Sorry, sir, I am not exactly aware of the provisions of the Act, sir. I will have to read upon it.
Now, suppose there is an offence against which you need an investigation in a state outside Delhi, and the state government is not willing to permit the CBI to investigate. Can the CBI investigate?
Sir, if the state has withdrawn the consent, then on certain extraordinary conditions, the CBI can investigate. If the corrupt official has been caught red-handed while doing corruption, then the CBI does have the power to go on and investigate without the consent of the state, sir.
Official of whom?
Of the state government.
Of the state government?
Yes, sir.
When the state government has withdrawn powers, withdrawn consent?
Sir, in this special condition, if there is proper evidence and if the official is caught red-handed doing corruption.
See, the whole idea behind investigation is to collect evidence.
Yes, sir.
You can't have proper evidence before collecting evidence.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it? Isn't there a contradiction in what you're saying?
So this is what I'm currently able to remember based on my limited understanding. Sorry, sir.
Adi Shankara is from Kerala, and I believe your parents are from Kerala originally. They settled down in Gujarat.
Yes, sir.
Tell me a few basic features of the Advaita philosophy.
Sir, the Advaita philosophy believes in oneness, that is the Atman, and the individual is one, believes in Tattvamasi, and so they believe in the Nirgun sect of idea.
What do you mean by the Nirgun?
So believes that the God is not having any definite form. God is not in a particular image or a deity, but God is present everywhere.
Do you agree with that? That God doesn't have a form?
Sir, I do believe that God doesn't have form, but at the same time, sir, it also gives me some focus when I see a specific deity or an image of a God, that is something representation of God, would give me more satisfaction while praying and offering my prayers, sir.
Okay. Now, since you want to join the foreign service, from the Ramayana and from the Mahabharata, let me, please tell me one character from the Mahabharata whom you think is a good ambassador, and one character from the Ramayana whom you think is a good ambassador.
Sir, in Mahabharata, I think Lord Krishna and Vidura would be good ambassadors who tried to negotiate the conflict, who tried to ensure that there is no war happening between both the Kauravas and the Pandavas, and did their best. And sir, in Ramayana, sir, I think Lord Hanuman would be a good diplomat, because Lord Hanuman was able to convey the messages quite clearly and also act as a deterrent, showing the power of Lord Rama to the adversary in Sri Lanka, Ravana, by setting the Lanka on fire.
Okay. A few days back, there was some controversy about St. Stephen's College, which came up in the newspapers.
Yes, sir.
What was that about?
So there was a mail which was sent by the college administration to over 100 students regarding suspension because they failed to attend the morning assembly.
The morning assembly, is it compulsory?
So yes, sir, in the first year it's compulsory to attend the morning assembly.
Why not in the remaining years?
Sir, because firstly the capacity within the college hall is limited for the first year students, and so secondly it is seen as a act of building personality development within the students. So given that we are in the foundational years of college, the college, that is one of the prime activity of the college to induce some personality traits within the students.
What do you think is the contribution of St. Stephen's College to make you a more rounded personality?
So the college has played a very crucial role through its extracurricular activities. By being a member of different societies, I was able to get a lot of exposure, and so the amount of opportunities also which I got through the college really helped me to achieve that level of social capital which I felt I could not have achieved. And also, sir, in terms of the academic aspect also, sir, through classrooms, strict emphasis on classrooms and tutorial sessions, and the individual attention through the tutorial sessions, I felt I got more knowledge and ideas and perspectives from my professors, as well as from my friends who came from different backgrounds of the country, sir.
Something from South Indian history which you think needs greater coverage when we study history in India?
Sir, I think the Chola history is something that needs to be emphasized upon.
Okay.
What is the meaning of Vapi
So Vapi means reservoir, water reservoir.
and Valsad?
So Valsad has the name derived due to the presence of a lot of banyan trees in the city.
Okay. And Dungara?
So Dungara means a mountain, a small heightless mountain, a mound.
Okay. Now, what is the share in GDP of primary, secondary and tertiary, and share in employment also?
So the primary sector contributes around 18% of the Indian economy. The secondary sector contributes around 28% of the economy, and the tertiary contributes around 53% of the Indian economy, sir.
And employment?
Sir, employment statistics, sir, I am not exactly aware of the figures. I'll definitely read upon it, sir.
Okay. What is the percentage of workforce in agriculture?
Sir, it's said that around 50% of the India's population is engaged in the agriculture activity.
Yeah. And what about Europe or USA? What is the percentage?
Sir, I'm not exactly aware of the percentage, but it's a very small percentage of labor which is engaged in the agriculture activity.
Yeah, it's about 2 to 3% only.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So this is not a fact. It's not rocket science, that learning so small a fact took so long a time. We are already 75 years have gone by. So why we have not been able to do something about it?
Sir, Sir, it has been because we have not been able to perform very much in the manufacturing and the services sector, especially in the manufacturing sector, because when we look at the economic paths that India has undertaken, we unfortunately skipped the manufacturing sector. So the traditional paths that the Europeans and the Americans followed was, once they had the surplus through agriculture, they invested in manufacturing, which did not require highly skilled labor.
Yeah, but after independence we could have done so. Nobody prevented us from.
Yes, sir. After independence, we could have done, sir. But then the economic policies of the license Raj that was followed, it stifled the manufacturing in the private sector. The government-dominated PSUs, though they were there, but they weren't very much enough. And sir, the 1991 liberalization, privatization, and globalization reforms, they unfortunately focused heavily on the service sector. So as a result, our service sector boomed, but our manufacturing sector could not catch up the pace which was required.
So now something is being done.
Yes, sir.
What?
So through schemes like Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India, production-linked incentives, and focusing on the MSMEs, the government is trying to have a good manufacturing base within the country, sir.
So if I am running a business already and I close that and I switch over to PLI and start making the same thing through PLI, is it allowed?
Sorry, sir, I'm not exactly aware of the details. I'll have to read upon it, sir. Sorry, sir.
And what is the quantum of incentive being given in PLI?
Sir, I'm not exactly aware of the number, the figures, but I'm aware that, sir, the government is giving it in installments. Like after achieving a particular level of production, the government is stepping up the incentives to the sectors.
And what is the, how are you making your payments?
Sir, through the UPI.
What is the quantum of transactions and the number of, the value of transactions and through UPI?
Sir, nearly 786 lakh crores was done in the recent months as per the RBI report, sir, showing a very high increase in the UPI transactions.
And the number?
Sir, number, I'm sorry, sir, I'll have to read upon it.
What roughly, what would be the number of transactions?
Sir, I'm not able to take a guess, sorry, sir.
Yeah, almost a trillion transactions are happening already on that platform.
Thank you, sir. I was not aware of that, sir.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Hello Vishnu, how are you doing?
I'm fine, sir.
Wonderful. Vishnu, when is your interview actually?
So it's on 7th March.
7th March, oh, around the corner.
Yes,
Huh?
sir.
Just about a week in hand. Vishnu, first of all, let me compliment you. You're such a young fellow.
Thank you,
Just passed out from college and broke the glass ceiling of getting into IS. Very well done.
Thank you, sir.
Extremely. You make us proud.
Thank you very much.
But at the same time, I'm intrigued as to, now that you've been selected, do you feel that Danak's, that the service that you've been selected in is not good enough and you want to change?
Sir, it's because my first preference has been the Indian Foreign Service. So that has been my primary objective to write the civil services examination. I'm very much satisfied with the Danik service, sir. But given that I had the opportunity, I would want to pursue.
Okay, excellent, excellent.
Thank
That
you,
is
sir.
why the whole endeavor is to meet your expression.
Yes, sir.
And when you are happy, you deliver the best. I
Thank
quite
you,
agree with you. So you have all the rights to get into foreign service. So I was actually again intrigued as to why do you want to join foreign service as number one?
Sir, I have always been interested in the international relations and foreign policies of the countries since I
Okay.
was a child, like in 8th standard. The news section, the first news I used to read was in the IR section. And so secondly, it also gives me an immense pride and it's a privilege for me to able to represent India at the highest
Very
levels.
good. Extremely good. You really make us, I'm sure people like you will make us proud.
Thank you very much.
That's excellent. Now looking at foreign relations, let me jog you through a couple of things.
Yes, sir.
Why is Indian Ocean important to India and to the world?
So the
5 reasons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So firstly is the presence of sea lanes of communication which pass through.
Locks, economy, done.
So second is the presence of polymetallic nodules, the natural resource.
Economy,
Okay, sir. So then it is also important because there are vulnerable countries which are prone to climate change.
okay, climate change, very good point.
So the presence of important countries, powers like China, India, the African nations.
Okay, balance of power.
Then
So
sir,
I'm giving you words that you need to
yes,
remember.
Yes, sir. Sir, it is also important because the non-traditional threats like piracy, which are affecting the current relations. So to ensure the primacy of the country against these threats, Indian Ocean is also important. And sir, in terms of geography and climate, the Indian Ocean is conducive for the monsoons that come.
Okay, that's a wonderful thing, monsoons.
Yes, sir. I'm able to recall this much, sir.
Think of one more thing. That's good, not bad. Pretty good, pretty impressive. Now that you are interested in foreign relations, let's talk of a foreign country, which is America, which is going to elections this year.
Yes, sir.
They have two parties, Democrats and the Republicans. Why not in India follow the similar manner? Instead of having so many parties, so many elections, and why not go for one nation, one election?
Sir, with respect to your question on why not having two-party system within the
Yes.
country, so given that the right to contest an election is also a right within the democracy, and that we are such a diverse nation, I think two-party system would actually limit the choices that the people would have and limit the policies, the outlook that the nation would have. So I think a large, diverse and a country having a 1.4 billion population, it would be good if we have a multi-party system, multi-party
Okay,
democracy.
one point I concede to you, if you believe that way. So why not have one, why have so many elections going around? All through the year the elections are going on in some state or the country. Why not have one nation, one election?
So definitely that's an idea that should be pursued. One nation, one election would be better suited for the country because we are having certain issues coming out, like the developmental agenda gets halted due to the MCC, the security.
Why are we not having it?
Sir, it was because now there has been a panel form. It was due to, till 1967, sir, we used to have simultaneous elections.
Okay, good point, conceded. So let me jog on to the next point. Now you become a IFS officer, you go abroad
Yes, sir.
and you're in a meeting,
Yes, sir.
a social gathering,
Yes, sir.
and somebody remarks that Hinduism is not tolerant, not a tolerant religion. You see, even their gods carry weapons all around. So if the gods are carrying weapons, the society would be definitely quite violent. So Mahatma Gandhi keeps on talking of non-violence. What is your take on it?
Sir, I would definitely oppose to that viewpoint, what the person is saying. And I would defend it by saying that, sir, Hinduism is one of the most tolerant religions within the world, accepting everything, because we have so
He is
many.
just challenging why the gods carrying weapons, Trishul leke bhag rahe hain. No other god carries weapons.
So the weapons are carried by gods not to destroy but to protect, sir. Whenever the gods have used the weapons, it has always been to protect the mankind. Be it Lord Durga.
Okay, understand good, evil, yin, yang.
Yes, sir.
Good job. I enjoyed interacting with you. Pretty well done.
Thank you, sir.
Keep it up.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Vishnu,
Yes, sir.
you have mentioned rail fanning,
Yes,
teaching, and some publications.
Yes, sir.
Which one of is interest? Which one is hobby?
Sir, rail fanning has been my interest. Teaching is also my interest, and so publishing articles has been a hobby, sir.
Okay, so okay, that we take it. Now, you have been a rail fan. What makes railway travel so popular in India?
So firstly, it is the affordability of the railways.
Okay.
So secondly, it is also the connectivity that the railways offer. Though in terms of road, it is not much, but affordability and the connectivity along with the dense network that we have. And so thirdly, railways, so when we travel by railways, it has always been a fun experience because given the long routes and the long times that we travel, it is also a way of making bonds with the people. So I think that is these are some of the reasons.
So why we go for a long journey by bus too, but
Yes.
what makes trains more social?
Sir, it is actually the space.
It's a very good
aspect.
point. And
And so secondly, I think I'm only able to think about this.
okay,
Sorry,
I will take that. So it's a
Yes.
good point. It's the ease of journey,
Yes,
which brings your mind back to your fellow passenger, rather than on the discomfort and the
Yes,
issues that you have to face like in flights. You don't
Yes.
have that much time. I will take that. Now, by going through your DAF, Vishnu, I noticed that you know a lot of languages. How many languages do you speak?
Sir, I can speak English, Hindi and Malayalam. So Gujarati I can understand.
So at least 3 languages you are proficient in.
Yes, sir.
So if I say that learning these languages have evolved you as a human, would you agree with that?
So yes, sir, I would agree to that statement.
So what traits you have achieved from here? What you have known?
Sir, I have been able to be more inclusive, and my
Okay.
ability to listen to others has also increased.
Okay.
And my appreciation of diversity has also, and the experiences that I gain from other people, and the knowledge.
What type of experiences?
Sir, a person from place A, like who speaks Hindi, would have a different experience compared to that a person from place B who might be speaking Malayalam. So I have been able to learn from all their experiences and understand.
Okay, Vishnu, I will take that. So none of the languages that you know are a foreign language.
Yes, sir.
And your preference is Indian Foreign Services?
Yes, sir.
So what language you will choose in your IFS training?
Sir, if given an opportunity, I would like to choose Chinese, sir.
Chinese. Any
Yes.
particular reason? And a very silly question here.
Yes, sir.
It's not the Chinese language.
Mandarin. Yes, sir. Sorry,
Okay.
sir. Mandarin. Yes, sir.
So why you will choose Mandarin?
Sir, it is because I wish to serve the Indian interest in China, and I want to understand the Chinese text and Chinese strategic thought, so that we would be able to understand the rationale behind China's actions.
It's a
and how to be
one-liner
prepared.
answer. China is so important to us.
Yes, sir.
We need to understand China.
Yes, sir.
And without knowing the language, how will we understand China and China's mentality and so on?
Yes, sir.
My last question to you. You teach.
Yes,
Do
sir.
you
I
teach
used to.
in offline mode or do you teach in online mode?
Sir, in online mode.
Now, I was expecting that. So tell me, there are few challenges that a teacher experiences during online teaching. What can be those?
So, firstly, it is the knowledge of the technology. Many teachers
Yeah,
don't
I will
know.
take that.
So, secondly, is the network connectivity, which
Okay.
cause interruptions in the learning.
It comes in the technology.
The communication becomes more restricted. Students, they are very much hesitant to respond. And sir, the ability to monitor also. Many students, they don't turn on their cameras. We don't know whether they are really learning. So that is also one challenge that we face. And so with respect to, especially if we are strictly in online mode, the ability to take examinations or inquire whether the students have understood the topic is also quite limited compared to that in offline mode, sir.
One thing I also like to add, which you can use, that it
Yes.
makes education informal in a different manner, in a negative manner.
Yes.
That's all from my side, Vishnu. Thank you.
Thank
Over
you,
to you.
sir.
So Vishnu,
Yes, sir.
how do you feel about your interview today?
Sir, I think I need to brush up on my.
Before we send the incarnation of Vishnu to China, let's ask him, how did you feel about it?
Sir, I think I need to brush up on my knowledge on the facts and the statistics aspect.
Mhm.
And I'm only able to think about this much currently.
I think you did very well.
Thank you, sir.
You did extremely well.
Thank you, sir.
But there are some areas where you can improve.
Yes, sir.
There's always scope. There's no perfection. You can
Yes.
always improve.
Yes.
Everybody can improve. So a few ideas, few suggestions. One is that we have not asked you anything about Dhirubhai Ambani scholarship, and you attended some of these things in India, China, and Indo-Azerbaijan Youth Roundtable Dialogue.
Yes, sir.
So you should know what it is. You should be able to present that. Then college rural research program.
Yes.
What are your findings and all that you should know.
Yes, sir.
That is from your DAF here. Now UN reforms. You should say tick, tick, tick. The first stage that the UN was formed soon after the Second World War. The power structure was very different. Today it has considerably undergone a change. We need to change that power structure.
Yes, sir.
Start with that. And then you continue. UNSC needs to be restructured because of that power structure which is antiquated. Then greater representation, because a lot of countries became independent in 60s and 70s,
Yes.
particularly most countries in Africa, also Asia. So we start with that and then come forward, okay? Now, Arth Shastra of Chanakya, you should have some look at it.
Yes, sir.
The Saptang theory, the Mandal theory, Arimitra, you know all that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You said Tattvamasi. Where does it come from?
Sir, it's from an Upanishad. And
Which Upanishad? You should know if you are selling that.
sure, sir, I'll read upon it.
It's Tell me which Upanishad.
There's a Chandogya Upanishad.
Uh,
Yes. Right. Thank you, sir.
Svet Ketu Tattvamasi, that is the full wording.
Okay, sir.
And what does it mean?
So Tattvamasi, it is me who I am.
No. You don't use the things which you don't know.
Sure, sir. Sorry, sir.
The meaning of this is that there is one supreme power, and you are also that supreme power.
Okay, sir.
That supreme power is within you.
Yes, sir.
You are as supreme as the supreme power.
Yes, sir.
If you realize that, then you can become like God.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You can become Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi comes from the same thing. That you can become Brahma if you realize that power.
Yes, sir.
Aham Brahmasmi comes from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. And this comes from Chandogya Upanishad. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, you articulate very well.
Thank you, sir.
You have good communication skill, smooth communication. Now, there was a question that evil forces, I think you asked, you could have used that, the gods use weapon because they need to destroy evil.
Yes, sir.
And it has been, since you are mentioning Tattvamasi, you can also mention Bhagavad Gita, that Paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya cha duskritam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. That is why the God comes again and again,
Yes, sir.
or good spirits come and again to destroy the evil.
Yes,
So evil has to be destroyed. That's why gods carry weapon.
yes, sir.
There is no society as tolerant as Indian, because it's such a, the Christians came here first time, even before European, they went to Europe, they came to here. Your Iranians, the previous one,
Yes, sir.
before
Parsis.
Iran became
Parsis.
Parsi, they came here.
Yes, sir.
Jews came here.
Yes, sir.
All other civilizations have come here, and they live harmoniously. There's no problem.
Yes.
Yes. So I think, but you have handled most of the questions very well. Now, electoral bonds and judicial appointments, you need to do little more research,
Yes, sir.
because many countries have experimented many things, and none of them have been fully satisfactory so far. So do little bit of research on that, because this is a question which is very relevant,
Yes, sir.
and you can put your answer in such a way that it's convincing to the board.
Yes, sir.
So apart from that, keep up with the current affairs.
Yes, sir.
Read the constitution once again, go through the economic survey of India, so that you are updated on economic issues, and that's all we can advise you. And foreign relations, you are interested, you can, there are many YouTube channels now.
Yes.
One of them is Cut the Clutter, which this Shekhar Gupta keeps, he is one of them. But there is also one of my colleague runs that channel, Start, what he calls a Start Nav, something like that. He also has weekly, or I think 2 talks every week. Then you have this, WION covers international relations, and that First Post,
Yes, sir.
that also Palki Sharma covers. So have a view on that, listen to them regularly.
Yes, sir.
I think that will update, and see interview of External Affairs Minister.
Yes, sir.
ANI, he has given 1 or 2 interviews to ANI, very comprehensive, detailed interview.
Yes, sir.
I think that will clarify all the issues. So that's it. If you have any query, anybody
Just
would like
one
to
point I
say?
would like to say. I think already gave you an excellent marking when you appeared before me earlier. But I think today you made a couple of mistakes which could be costly. So I just want to caution you about things. CBI is definitely, it can't just go in and investigate anywhere.
Okay, sir.
Even if it's a serious offense, it can't do it. It's a corruption offense. If it's a state government official, there's no question of the CBI going in there. So, you see, the state government has got absolute powers with regard to police and law and order.
Yes, sir.
Okay, as per the state list of the constitution. So that's one thing. Second thing, I think on this point about the Indian Foreign Service, I think you need to moderate your answer a little bit, because you're already in Danix. I'm very happy there. I'm just writing the exam because I want to get into the Foreign Service. Then why did you opt for the other services?
Okay, sir.
So if you don't get the Foreign Service, you're willing to accept the IAS, you're willing to accept the IPS, you're willing to accept the Revenue Service.
Yes, sir.
So all these officers are there in the UPSC.
Yes, sir.
If one of them is the chairman, then you're doomed.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so don't give a very extremist answer of that kind. I can appreciate your, I mean, you want to get into the foreign service, you have a aptitude for the foreign service. I can clearly see that.
Thank you, sir.
But don't make that as the only goal of your life.
Yes, sir.
It's very good.
Yes, sir.
Point is, I've also opted for 4-5 services, and so I think you need to keep it a little more broad based.
Yes, sir.
That's all.
Sure.
Just be a little cautious about the way you answer.
Yes, sir.
In the same breath, you have left so many Group A services.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that is written not opted.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, not opted. That means you may take 16 years to reach Group A.
Yes.
That risk you are willing to take.
Yes.
That's okay. But once you opted, then you can't say I don't have interest.
He is making a very important point here,
Yes.
because compared to the ANIX, you have also given preference to revenue services.
Yes, sir.
So they may ask you that why do you want to leave the ANIX and go for a revenue service? That could be. So you should prepare yourself a little bit on that.
And you should know about the Viksit Bharat, all the schemes, flagship schemes, you know. So there are so many of them, and you can go to Central Bureau of Communications website and see the schemes. That will help you. Okay, and betterindia.com, you can see that website also, you will learn something from that.
Yes.
Political and Economic Weekly is very good journal.
Yes.
If you have time, just have one or two journals, take them latest 2-3 issues and go through them. They give very detailed analysis on economic issues.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So we wish you good luck. Yeah, if you have some.
So based on this question then, so is it okay if I say like the Group B, Group A aspect, like switching from the ANIX to then the other services? Can I say so Group B to Group A? Is it fine to say?
No, it's an accepted fact that it's a Group B is Group B and Group A is Group A. So there's no question of like a Class 1 officer in the government being, obviously any Class 2 officer would like to become a Class 1 officer.
Yes, sir.
So there's no harm in saying that I'm writing the examination again because the system permits that, number one.
Yes, sir.
Even IPS officers are allowed to sit for the exam again if they want to get into the IAS.
Yes.
So the system, number one, permits that. And I think it will be, as he said, 16 years to get into the Group A category.
Yes, sir.
So you do it faster if you get into the Group A categories directly.
Yes, sir.
Let's be matter of fact.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any more questions?
No, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so good luck.
Good job.
All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Keep it up.
Okay, Vishnu.
Thank you.